Hello everyone. Welcome back to the video on my Predator Force channel. So, I'm gonna read this book by Jerry Spinelli, Stargirl. I remember reading this book back in high school. You know, it was a summer assignment. It was one of the required books I had to read. And I actually enjoyed it very much, honestly. It was, truly thought-provoking. It truly is a life-changing book, honestly. Even if you don't like the book personally, even if you don't like reading personally, you might enjoy this book. I'm just saying. Jerry Spinelli is known for writing stories about people that are outcasts, in society. So it's definitely a book that you definitely should try reading, in my opinion, at least. But let's read it, honestly. I remember buying this book like 10 years ago, back when I was in high school. So let's read the synopsis. Stargirl. From the day she arrives at a quiet Mika High, the hallways hum with the murmur of Stargirl. She captures Leo Burlock's heart with just one smile. She sparks the school spirit revolution with just one cheer. The students of Mika High are enchanted. At first. Then they turn on her. Stargirl is suddenly shunned of everything that makes her different, and Leo, desperate with love, urges her to become the very thing that can destroy her, normal. In celebration of nonconformity, Newbery medalist Jerry Spinelli weaves an emotional tale about the perils of popularity and inspiration of first love. So yeah, this is where the book starts off. Porcupine necktie. When I was little, my Uncle Pete had a necktie with a porcupine painted on it. I thought that necktie was just about the neatest thing in the world. Uncle Pete would stand patiently before me while I ran my fingers over the silky surface, half expecting to be stuck by one of the quills. Once he let me wear it. I kept looking for one of my own, but I could never find one. I was told when we moved from Pennsylvania to Arizona. When Uncle Pete came to say goodbye, he was wearing the tie. I thought he did so to give me one last look at it, and I was grateful. But with a dramatic flourish, he whipped off the tie and draped it around my neck. "It's yours," he said, going away present. I loved the porcupine tie so much I decided to start a collection. 2 years after we settled in Arizona, the number of ties in my collection was still 1. Where do you find a porcupine necktie in Mika, Arizona, or anywhere else for that matter? On my 14th birthday, I read about myself in the local newspaper. The family section ran a regular feature about kids and their birthdays, and my mother had called in some info. The last sentence read, "As a hobby, Leo Borlock collects porcupine neckties. Several days later, coming home from school, I found a plastic bag on our front step. Inside was a gift wrap package tied with yellow ribbon. The tag said, 'Happy Birthday.' I opened the package. It was a porcupine necktie. 2 porcupines were tossing darts with their quills, while a third was picking its teeth. I inspected the box, the tag, the paper. Nowhere could I find the giver's name. I asked my parents. I asked my friends. I called my Uncle Pete. Everyone not knowing anything about it. I thought I simply considered the episode a mystery. It did not occur to me that I was being watched. We were all being watched." So that's introduction. Now it's on to chapter 1 on page 3. "Did you see her? That was the first thing Kevin said to me on the first day of school, 11th grade. We were waiting for the bell to ring. 'See who?' I said. 'Ha!' He craned his neck, scanning the mob. He had witnessed something remarkable. It showed on his face. He grinned, still scanning. 'You'll know.' There were hundreds of us milling about, calling names, pointing to summer tanned faces we hadn't seen since June. Our interest in each other was never keener than during the 15 minutes before the first bell of the first day. I punched his arm. 'Who?' The bell rang. We poured inside. I heard it again in the homeroom, a whispered voice behind me as he said the Pledge of Allegiance. 'You see her?' I heard in the hallways. I heard it in English and geometry. 'Did you see her?' Who could it be? A new student? A spectacular blonde from California? Or from back east, where many of us came from? Or one of those summer makeovers, someone who leaves June looking like a little girl who returns September as a full-bodied woman? A teen week miracle? And then Earth Sciences, I heard a name. Stargirl. I turned to the senior crouching behind me. 'Stargirl?' I asked. I said, 'What kind of a name is that?' 'That's it, Stargirl Caraway,' she said in homeroom. 'Stargirl?' 'Yeah.' And then I saw her. At lunch. She wore an off-white dress so long it covered her shoes. It had ruffles around the neck and cuffs around it looked like it could have been her great-grandmother's wedding gown. Her hair was the color of sand. It fell to her shoulders. Something was strapped across her back, but it wasn't a book bag. At first of all, it was a miniature guitar. I found out later that it was a ukulele. She did not carry a lunch tray. She did carry a large canvas bag with life-size sunflower painted on it. The lunchroom was dead silent as she walked by. She stopped by an empty table, laid down her bag, slung the instrument strap over her chair, and sat down. She pulled a sandwich from the bag and started to eat. Half the lunchroom kept staring, half started buzzing. Kevin was grinning. "What did I tell you?" I nodded. "She's in 10th grade, he said. "I hear she's been homeschooled till now." "Maybe that explains it," I said. Her back was to us so he couldn't see her face. "No one sat with her?" But at the tables next to her, his kids were cramming to his seat. She didn't seem to notice. She seemed misroomed in a sea of staring, buzzing faces. Kevin was grinning again. You thinking what I'm thinking? He said. I grinned back. I nodded. Hot Seat. Hot Seat was our school TV show. We had started the year before. I was producer/director. Kevin was on-camera host. Each month he interviewed a student. So far, most of them had been honor-type student types, athletes, model citizens. No worry in the usual ways, but not especially interesting. Suddenly, Kevin's eyes boggled. The girl was picking up her ukulele. Now she was strumming it, and now she was singing. Strumming away, bopping her head and shoulders, singing, I'm looking for a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before. Stone silence looked all around. They came to the sound of a single person clapping. I looked. It was the lunch line cashier. And now the girl was standing, slinging her bag over one shoulder and marching him on the tables, strumming and stringing and strutting and twirling. Head swung, eyes followed her, mouths hung open. Disbelief. When she came by our table, I got my first good look at her face. She wasn't gorgeous, wasn't ugly. Our sprinkle freckles crossed the bridge of her nose. Mostly she looked like 100 other girls in school except for two things. She wore no makeup, and her eyes were the biggest I ever seen, like deer's eyes caught in headlights. She twirled as she went past, her flaring skirt pushing my pant leg, and then she marched out of the lunchroom. From among the tables came 3 slow claps. Someone whistled. Someone yelped. Kevin and I gawked at each other. Kevin held up his hands and framed a Mark Wee in the air. Hot Seat, coming attraction, Stargirl. I slapped the table. Yes. We slammed hands. So, yeah, that's the first chapter, the introduction of the first chapter of Stargirl, pages 1 to 6. And take care, everybody. I'll do you guys next chapter when I get the chance to. Take care.